Turn a simple polka dot paper into wonderful grunge using the help of the magic wand tool and a layer mask. This tutorial is being filmed in Photoshop Elements, but the instructions are exactly the same for Adobe Photoshop except where noted. In order to complete this tutorial, you're going to need a paper with small polka dots, a solid background paper, and the software of Photoshop Elements or Adobe Photoshop. If you'd like to follow along exactly, make sure to have the extra files downloaded, unzipped, and ready to use, as I include both a polka dot paper and a solid background paper for you in the downloads. As I just stated, in the downloads for this tutorial you will find two papers. One is this polka dot paper and the other is a solid paper. Open the polka dot paper now. And then in the menu bar, choose Window, Images, Consolidate all to tabs. The first thing we need to do is select the polka dots. So to do that, get the magic wand tool and in the tool options, click on the new selection icon, set the tolerance to 32, uncheck both sample all layers and contiguous, but make sure anti-aliasing is checked. For Photoshop, set the sample size to point sample. Now, we'll need to click on one of the dots in order to select them, but the dots are small, so if you need to, press Ctrl+ in Windows or Command+ on a Mac to zoom in a couple of times. And then on the document, click once on one of the polka dots to select them all. Then press Ctrl+0 in Windows or Command+0 on a Mac to resize the document to fit your screen. And then press Ctrl+C in Windows or Command+C on a Mac to copy the polka dots. So now that we have our polka dots copied, we can use them to add grunge to any solid background paper we wish. For the purposes of this tutorial, I have included a solid background paper in the downloads for this lesson for you to be able to follow along. So open that paper now. And then in the menu bar, choose Window, Images, Consolidate all to tabs. Now press Ctrl+V in Windows or Command+V on a Mac to paste the polka dots. Now, in order to better see the polka dots, we need to recolor them. So to do that, press the letter D to reset the color chips to the default of black over white. Then in the Layers panel, click on the Create a New Fill or Adjustment Layer icon and choose Solid Color. Then in the dialog box, click OK. Now in the menu bar, choose Layer, Create Clipping Mask. Now our polka dots are much easier to see. Now we're going to turn these polka dots into some cool looking grunge. So to do that, get the brush tool and in the tool options, click to open the brush picker and choose the stipple brush from the natural brushes. In Photoshop, the natural brushes can be found in the legacy brushes. If you don't see the stipple brush, open the flyout menu and choose Large List. In Photoshop, you would choose Brush Name. Then set the size of the brush to 500 pixels and set the opacity to 70%. Also, make sure the mode is set to normal. Then click to open the brush settings and set the spacing to 50%. In Photoshop, set the flow to 100% and the smoothing to 100%. Now in the Layers panel, click on the polka dot layer to make it the active layer. Then in the Layers panel, hold down the Alt key in Windows or the Option key on a Mac and click on the Add Layer Mask icon. Doing so will add a layer mask to the polka dot layer that is already filled with black, and this will make all of the polka dots disappear, as you can see. In order to brush the Polka Dot Grunge on, we need the foreground color chip to be white. If it isn't, press the letter X to switch the foreground color chip to white. Then on the document, click and drag to add some Polka Dot Grunge to the background. In my case, I'm going to brush around the edge of the paper to create a grungy border. But you could also brush to create a grungy polka dot anchor for a photo cluster if you wanted. And for areas you want to be extra clear, make sure you brush over it more than once. I want to darken the corners, so I'm going to go over those a little bit more. So the great thing about this technique is that you can customize it for your current project. You don't have to keep the dots black. To recolor the dots, simply do the following. In the Layers panel, double-click on the thumbnail of the solid color fill layer above the polka dot layer. Then in the dialog box, use the dropper to sample a color or type in a specific hex number you want to use. I'm using hex number 90D9D2, and then I'll click OK. The last thing you can do is, if you want to save this for future use, save this document as a layered PSD file with a unique name. I'm going to save mine as Polka Dot Grunge template.psd. Doing this will allow you to add any solid paper you want below the Polka Dot Grunge layer, and it will also allow you to change the solid color fill layer to anything that coordinates with your current project. So now that you've seen how to create Polka Dot Grunge, let me show you how I used this technique in a project. Here's the scrapbook page I created using the Polka Dot Grunge as an anchor for my main portion of my page, as well as some grunge around the edge of the document. I love how the Polka Dot Grunge adds visual interest without overwhelming the entire layout. So that's how you extract polka dots from a paper to create the magic of Polka Dot Grunge. I'm Jennifer Juris with Digital Scrapper.